Well, good afternoon. If it's Mondays, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, it's Mondays at Michael Live here on Facebook. Welcome to our video live show. If you're watching this post session, thank you for checking it out today. Today, we're going to finish our 4-part series on the Everything DiSC Workplace Map. So we've gone through each of the first 3 styles today, and today we're going to go through our last and 4th style, the C. But before we do that, we've got a couple of announcements for you, bits of information. Tomorrow, June 4th at 3 o'clock, we're having our seminar, our webinar on hiring, using more data to make a better hiring decision. I'll put a link into wherever you're seeing this, and if you want to register for tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we still have a couple seats open. We're going to review one of our assessment tools that helps companies make better selection decisions. So I hope you can join us. And as always, we're going to be using also the Everything DiSC Workplace Profile. For those who have not taken the Workplace Profile before, again, I'm offering you a free access code, a free link to take the assessment, learn a little bit about yourself, and I'm happy to go over those results with you at no charge, for free, kind of like my little gift for you. If you think your team may be a group that may be interested in doing a team DiSC seminar, we do that quite regularly also. We do offsite retreats, and we do that using the Everything DiSC Workplace Profile. So again, if you're interested in that kind of program, again, just message me wherever you're seeing this, and we'll send you more information on that. We use the Everything DiSC products in team building. We use it in leadership development. I use it in coaching. I don't coach any client unless we do an assessment with them, the Everything DiSC Workplace or management or leadership, so they learn a little more about their behaviors at work and how those behaviors impact those who work around them, those that report to them, and those they report to. So we kind of look at all 3 of those areas. So today we're going to learn about the C, conscientious, the C, the last in the letters, but not last in importance. So for those of you that are C, just because you're last in letter doesn't mean you're last in importance. So just FYI for you. So again, we are going to take a look at the Everything DiSC map because depending on style, each style has at least 3 priorities. And again, I'm going to go to my trusty notes here. So the 3 priorities for the C style are accuracy, stability, like the S, and challenge, like the D. So it gives you that kind of that bottom left-hand quadrant there of the C style. Some of the behaviors that we notice within the C style are being very analytical, being reserved, being precise, being accurate is very important, being private, like working alone, and very systematic. So again, these are some of the behaviors we see in those that are high C. Now, where do we see some of these behaviors in the workplace? You know, depending on the groups I'm actually working with, we see a lot of C's in the workplace. You know, they tend to gravitate to those sometimes financial and sometimes software development and those types of customers we work with. But we see C salespeople, we see C leaders, we see C people, managers and supervisors. So we see them all throughout the workplace. So let's talk about this. If you have a C coworker, someone on your team who's a C, these are the things you need to be aware of. That C coworker is going to be very accurate. They're going to be very perfectionistic. They're going to make sure that that PowerPoint presentation is perfect. They're going to make sure that that Excel file is going to add up to the penny. They're going to make sure that whatever your team is thinking through is thought through using logic. And we focus on the facts of the situation, not the feelings. They want to make sure those feelings are left at home and you bring your facts to work. And then when you interact with some of the other styles, especially the I's, it makes it difficult for them because C's like to focus in on the facts, leave the emotions out of it. They don't shoot from the hip. They won't go with their gut feeling most of the time. So if you're a coworker and your coworker C, you need to know these things about your C coworkers. They move on fact, they move logically, they move systematically. Something you need to keep in mind when working with C's as your coworker. Now, think about that for a second as we move into working with your boss. Now, if your boss is high C, not only is their work going to be perfectionistic and logical and exact and whatnot, they may put some of that pressure on you to be specific, to be logical, to be precise, to be accurate, to be perfect, to make sure that your work is perfect before you present it to them. And again, when you're interacting with your boss, like your teammate, these are going to be short conversations. High C's don't like to talk about a lot. If they do talk a lot, they're talking about the work. If they're talking about the work, it's specifically about the work. So they're not going to be chit-chatty, just sitting around the office talking about, local sports teams. They're going to be talking about the work most of the time. So if your boss is high C, make sure that that work is precise and accurate before you hand it in. And let's talk about customers. So for those of you who are salespeople and are selling to high Cs, again, it's a different presentation. It's obviously a different presentation if you're selling to someone who's high I or high D, because they're the bottom of the circle, and then they're high C, so they're more exact, more precise. High Cs won't show emotion in a sales presentation. They'll want as much information as possible. As a matter of fact, you may need to bring more information than you were planning to bring, because they are going to ask you those 5 questions that you weren't thinking about that they're going to remind you of when you show up. So you have to make sure that you have accurate information, you have all the warranty information, you have all the software information, you have to have everything about that product or service down to the minute detail if you want to make a solid presentation to a high C. Most of the time, the high C is not going to be a one-call close. It's not going to be a DRI where that customer is going to make a gut decision. They're going to feel it and going to say, okay, let's sign the dotted line. C's are going to take more, like the S's. They may have to check with others in the organization, but they probably won't make a one-call close decision. So you have to kind of be aware of that. Be aware of that. Be prepared for that. You have to go back in a second time. You maybe have to go in a third time. And you should be ready for more questions that you may not be able to answer during the first meeting. Okay, so let's talk a little about you. If you are watching this and you're someone who's high C, don't freak out. I mean, these are just nuances, and they're a little bit about your behavior, so don't freak out. So, but some tips I want to give to you. If I'm coaching someone who's high C, these are the kind of things I give them a little bit of. We go through their report in depth, just like we do everybody else. But not everything needs to be perfect all the time. And I know that's tough for high Cs to hear sometimes, but it doesn't need to be perfect all the time. Sometimes close enough is good enough. So be aware of that. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. You have to learn how to be spontaneous. Not everything needs to be planned out to the 10th degree. If your colleagues walk into your office and they want to go out to lunch one day to a restaurant you've never been to, that's okay. You can be a bit spontaneous. Try it. It's lots of fun. Working with other styles, you can overdo it with logic and perfectionistic. You can't overdo that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect all the time. Close to the cup, close to the pin sometimes is good enough. So be aware of that. And the other thing you have to realize, you can't do everything yourself. I work with C's that say, Michael, if I just did everything, it would be done right the first time. You can't do everything yourself. You have to work on a team. You have to work with different styles. Different styles bring different sets of behaviors and different passions. So you have to be aware of that. So again, you can't do all the work yourself. And don't sit at your desk and read email all day, because I see really like to read email. Sometimes they don't like interacting with people. They just want to interact with the email and the computer. You have to get up, have to walk around, have to interact with people. Very, very important. Again, just some things that you may want to work on. So that's kind of wraps it up for us of our 4 styles, the D, I, S, and C. The other presentations are on our Facebook page, Training Solutions, or if you're following us on YouTube, they're on our YouTube channel, Training Solutions. You can click to that on the bottom of our website, www.trainingsolutions.com. If you're seeing this and you're on LinkedIn or you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, follow us on the other platforms. We're on LinkedIn. We're obviously on Facebook, our company site. We have a Twitter account that we also use quite regularly. So follow us on social media. We're posting from time to time pictures and videos and whatnot. And then next week, we'll get back to the rest of our schedule. So upcoming, we have a session on our hiring assessment that we're going to do this week. We'll do a session on that. And then we'll do a session on leadership and, the work of leaders profile. We're going to do that also along the way. So thanks for hanging out with me today. It's Mondays with Michael live here on Facebook. We'll see you next Monday, 3 p.m. Have a great week. Take care.